think the show, I want to say East Wing or something. Was it?
Well, there's Eastbound and Down or West Wing.
West Wing. I'm an old person. I just combined.
And you're like, the East Wing.
Actually, my good childhood friend is getting married also in the south of France in some other little village I've never heard of, like 3 hours closer to Barcelona, that
Oh my
direction.
gosh.
So
Yeah.
we're going to like do a few nights in Cannes, and then we're going to do Marseille for a couple nights, and we're going to go to the wedding. They're putting us all up in a chateau for 4 nights.
Can I get an invite to this
I
wedding?
know, right?
I don't know her, but I feel like, listen, I got along well with Grace. Like, let me meet this girl. We'll get along great. I'll get a +1. It'll be a whole. First, I have to get myself in the wedding. Then I'll get Jess. We'll go. We're great wedding guests.
I'll see you there.
Top notch. I love dancing. I'm a wonderful wedding dancer.
Amazing.
Yeah. So just, plant the seed.
Yeah.
I see you reaching for your cup. So this is as good a time as any to talk about the tea.
Yeah.
What we are drinking is Smith tea. It's out of Portland.
Very good.
It is number 13, Red Nectar. It's a rooibos tea. So for those that are steeping with us at home, our steeple, if I may. This is going to be, you're going to put your water at boiling, as most rooibos will tend to require. And I steeped it for 5 minutes. You could go a little over if you want, but that's how I did it. What do you think of the tea?
It's very good.
Are you a big tea drinker? I can't remember.
I'm not a big tea drinker, but only because I forget about it, not because I don't like it. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. Are you, because I don't feel like you're a huge coffee drinker either. Are you?
I have 1 cup every morning.
That's it.
That's the whole thing. And I'm not fancy about it. I get like Folgers or
Sure.
whatever I have a coupon for.
Oh my God. Are you a coupon gal?
Like a big coupon gal.
Where do you find coupons now? Because they're not in no one's getting circulars anymore, are they?
Well, Amazon does send them, but theirs are going to becoming complete bullshit. They used to send really good ones, but now they're crap.
Amazon used to send circulars? Or Amazon used to send discounts?
What's a circular?
Those kind of thin papery things you'd get in the mail where it was like $1 off tomatoes
Like
this
a bunch
week.
of coupons to a bunch of different places?
No, the circular would usually be like Ralph's would send you a circular.
Yeah, Ralph still sends one, and Amazon also sends one.
I am stunned.
Paper,
I don't get the
thin
Amazon
paper
one.
ones, yeah.
I also don't get a Ralph's one, but I
You
don't get
want
the
it.
Amazon
Ralph's
one.
has to get it together.
Tag Ralph's, get it together.
They used
Ralph's.
to send a coupon that was like $20 off of $40 spent, and I would like.
I mean, that's insane. I would do that in a heartbeat.
You don't even know what I would do. I would literally go to my neighbors and ask if they were going to use theirs, and they don't. And they'd give them to me. You can only do 1 per order, per purchase. So I would go do a third of my trip, use 1 coupon, put those things in the car, go back in, get more groceries, use that coupon again. And I would literally turn a $200 trip into a $100 trip.
So have you heard of the show Extreme Couponing? Have you heard? Yeah, okay. Do you watch it? Because you
No,
should be
but
on it.
I should be on it. I know. I mean, I'm like, I'll also do a little disguise just in case someone.
Are you kidding me?
Like where I'll go in like the first time with my hair down and like no sunglasses on and like no sweater, and then I'll go to the car and I'll like put a baseball cap on and like take this like put a sweater on and like just in case someone's like, wait a minute.
What do you think they'd say though? Do you think they'd be like, weren't you just here? And you'd be like, yeah.
I'll be like, I just forgot something.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I think that and I'm saying this as someone who does this. I'm with you. I'm not saying like I don't do it. I do this to a T where I always think people are going to be like recognizing, remembering things, caring about things that they don't. Like I was going into work on Monday and I was about to throw on a sweatshirt and I go, oof. And Jess goes, what? And I go, I think I wore the sweatshirt last Monday. And she goes, so? And I was like, I don't want people to be like, oh, does he have a Monday sweatshirt? And she goes, no one knows what sweatshirt you wore on Monday. And I'm like, I do. And she goes, okay, what sweatshirt did I wear on Monday? And I'm like, I had no clue.
That's what Jess did there is what I do in general. And I apply it to stand up too, where like if I have a bad set and I'm like, that's it. Everyone knows me from that set. That's what they think of when they think of me. And then I'll be like, Julia, name someone who you recall recently having a bad set. And I literally can't think of anyone. I'm like, yeah, because everybody's self-involved and they're not remembering the shit that other people do.
You could default to me. I think I'm trying to remember. I'm sure I had a bad set recently. I'd have to think. But yeah, I did about a week and a half ago.
Well, like the thing is, if you had to try to think about it yourself.
No.
Do I have like an almond in my teeth you can see?
No, I don't think
I'm
so.
like, that would be annoying if the whole
I
time
listen, I appreciate that you asked.
I snack a lot, so it's a problem.
Are you a big snacker?
Yeah.
Like, here's okay. I don't want to blow up your spot, and you could tell me if you think this is very. I know you think it's normal. Your eating schedule and your and Nick's eating schedule has perplexed me from the day that we met.
I've normalized it a little bit.
Have you
I've
really?
normalized my schedule in general. I go to bed in the 10 p.m. hour now, and
What?
I get up around 8, sometime in the 7 a.m. hour. And
Oh,
I also try to eat dinner no later than I try to eat dinner around 8 p.m., which I know is still late for you.
okay, wait. So can we just so the listeners don't think I'm crazy? Can you tell them the schedule you used to keep of when your breakfast, lunch, and dinner was? Because it was
Yeah.
insane.
Okay, there would be no food until noon or 1.
Right. And
And
that's your
then
first meals
that's the
coming
first
in.
meal.
Okay.
And then there would be a very large, what I called lunch at like 5 p.m.
Yep.
before leaving to do stand up.
Yep.
And then whatever the hell time stand up ended, whether that was 10 p.m. or 1 a.m., there would then be another large meal.
Yeah.
Sometimes there would be a 1 a.m. large meal.
I remember once I was meeting up with you and Nick. I can't remember what we were going to do, but I was meeting up with the two of you and we were gonna grab dinner and I was like, how's like 6:30? And you
Oh,
were like, oh no.
landing on a time for us to have dinner was like for you, what was a late dinner for us was still unreasonably early, and we're like, how are we gonna make this
I
work?
know. Well, that's because it was like blew me away. And then you explained your schedule. I go, well, I guess that makes sense. Like, because that's the schedule that you
Yeah.
lead. What made you normalize? Because like I have known you, your trademark for me, other than being a hilarious person and a lovely individual,
It's a weird eating schedule.
is like a crazy eating
I'm
schedule.
so proud of this trademark.
It's like it's kind of nutty.
I'm
And
not even joking.
it's shocking that you and I have even spent any time together, truly, because we eat on exact opposite schedules. And we once did a very lovely. We went and saw. I want to say it was like Indiana Jones out on like like an outdoor theater together. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh yeah.
I think it was in like
Yeah.
I don't remember where it was. It was like by Will Rogers.
Yes. I think
But-
it was literally at the Will Rogers Park.
Yeah,
possibly,
but we went there and we both got food from food trucks. How were we both eating at the same time? I don't know.
I wonder, well, maybe it was my lunch.
Oh my lord!
Maybe
don't
it was 6
understand.
p.m.
I don't understand.
And you were having dinner and I was having my second meal of the day, and I would have probably eaten at midnight later again.
What made you normalize?
Well, I actually finally stopped having terrible insomnia
Oh,
and have been able to sleep on a regular schedule. And so I do, because I love the productivity and also better mental
wow.
health that comes with that. And so with that, you sort of become forced into a different schedule. You know what I mean? Because when I was having my first meal at 1 p.m., I was waking up at 10 a.m. So that's not a huge deal to be up for a few hours without food.
Sure.
But now if I'm getting up at 7:30 a.m., I mean, by 10 a.m., I need a little snack.
Yeah.
And I want my lunch at 12 or noon. And then I kind of want dinner at a normal time too, And also, I'm now going to bed at the time when I used to be having one of my meals. So I have to have dinner earlier to accommodate for that bedtime. So
I
I
guess.
just became normal and healthy.
But my big question for you, and I don't want to put you in a spot where like I'm making bad assumptions here, but like, what was driving the insomnia? Because clearly it was something. If
Yeah.
like for me, what keeps me up at night is, I guess like this is maybe getting way too deep, way too early, but like I think what keeps me up at
Good.
night is I like think about all the things that I haven't done,
Mm-hmm.
not in that day, but in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I really thought I would have accomplished more by this point in my life.
Yeah.
And that keeps me up a lot. What was keeping you up?
No, I passionately discuss this subject because it's literally transformed my entire life to fix my sleep.
Tell me.
Like
I
I've
need to
literally,
fix it.
I mean, there's a guy who I watch on YouTube who has a bunch of videos. He has like a paid coaching program if you want to do it. And honestly, if I had the money, I would do it because
Yeah.
literally his free content fixed my life. I can't imagine it being any better than it is now, so I don't think I would need the paid coaching. But
You
I
told
sent
me
you this, yes.
So you told me once something that I actually took to heart, and I
What?
believe it was from this guy, which was a lot of times when you can't fall asleep, you get mad for not being able to fall asleep,
Yeah.
and that keeps you up more. So if you just get cool with the idea, like, hey, you're awake, that's okay. You taught me that. I never forgot it. You told me that outside of a show, and I never forgot it.
That is one. So like I forgot that because that is just one of many little nuggets. He has like all these videos. If you go, he's called the Insomniac Coach or the Insomnia Coach. I think it's the Insomniac Coach. And he has hundreds of YouTube videos. Some of them are like 45 minutes long. I never watched any of those.
That's just too long for
I
me.
watch all the ones that are like under 7 minutes long. And he literally, it's all cognitive behavioral therapy based, right?
Yeah,
Like controlling
CBT.
your own thoughts. And he understands the neurotic thought patterns and specific thoughts insomniacs have so well. Like I would literally look at the title of every video and I was like, that's exactly a thought that I have, a recurring thought that I have, and that's a recurring
I'm
thought
so
that I have.
scared.
And that's like a
Yeah.
recurring pattern of thoughts that I have and how that thought will trigger that thought. And he
Yeah.
understands the insomniac's brain like so well. And he just speaks to those thoughts and why they're not as bad as why that outcome is not real and that worry is not real. And even if that thing does happen, it actually won't be as bad as you think. So you wind up fixing your brain like little by little, and you wind up having just a general mindset where you no longer worry about sleep. That all like the little thought fixes, like that one that you just reminded me of don't be mad at yourself for being awake. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the detailed shifts in thought because there were so many that I just like digested through his videos. I don't even remember them. My brain works differently and I no longer have the brain of an insomniac.
Like that's very impactful to me. So I don't sleep. I don't get good sleep. And I think like the thing that I think about a lot is like, is it possible to be a successful stand-up comedian and get good sleep? Because when I finish a show, okay, so like I had I was on a 10 p.m. show a couple weeks ago.
They're the worst.
It's not fun.
Fucks up your whole, can I not
No,
swear?
you can curse all you want.
Fucks up your whole sleep schedule.
Right. Now, I didn't go first. I was in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
So I went up probably around 11, okay? Maybe a little after that. Crowd was hot. Show was great. I was on a high, okay? So, and that's important for the context of this. I stay. I support the other comics. I hang out. I'm having fun. We're joking. We're chilling out a little bit afterward. I get home maybe about 12:15, 12:30. Now, at this point, my energy is still really up because I was socializing. My energy is also up because the crowd was so hot that I absorbed some of that energy. So now I have a lot of that inside of me, but that doesn't change the fact that I have to be up the next morning at 7 a.m. So it's like this weird balance of like, I'm not going to be able to sleep and I don't want to punish, Jess with whom I share a bed. So I'm just like, I'm going to go to bed with you at the same time. And she'll fall asleep. And then I just sat there because so I wonder a lot, like, do you have to sacrifice your sleep to be a good stand-up comic? I don't know. It feels like it.
I mean, I don't think it has to be like a yes or no answer. Not all your shows are going to be at 10 p.m.
I hate when they are. Yeah.
They're not all going to be at 10 p.m. Sometimes you're going to be the first one on the 10 p.m. show, and that's, so you can get out of there earlier. You're not always going to have to get up at 7 in the morning. I think you recently told me you've been getting up at 9. So what's going on with that?
8.
Okay.
Or 7:30. I get up at 7:30. I go to the gym at 8. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're choosing to go to the gym, so that's your problem.
Can I tell you? So a lot of people spent quarantine, COVID time, drinking or smoking. I spent it eating ice cream. So I have a bit of a ways to go, to kind of come back from that. Well, I appreciate
what Julia, you got fat.
No. I was gonna say, you know how obsessed I am with ice cream.
Oh, yes,
you know me better than most, so like I'm an ice cream fanatic.
Yes.
Can't help it.
Nick hit the ice cream hard too. He gained 22 pounds in the pandemic.
Well, let's not blow up his spot. He looks great.
I had a stand-up bit about it. He knows, but he was. I think for him that was just like we had nothing to look forward to.
I had nothing.
That's what I don't even know what was I doing that I looked forward to. I don't know. I think that was a problem. I think maybe I just was like, I'll just be miserable. I won't even find a thing.
Someone asked me, they were like, yeah, what did you do to like have fun? I was like, do you want to know what I did to have fun? This is what we looked forward to once for a week. We were talking about movies and we were like flipping through one of the streaming services and we saw The Purge was on there and I was like, oh, I can't watch that. It's too scary.
I love The Purge, the whole franchise.
So Jess and I decided, we built up and we said, okay, I don't know what day of the week it was. Let's say it was Wednesday. We're like, okay, starting tomorrow, we're watching every single Purge, one after the other every night. And like, that was what was cool. Like, that's what we looked forward to in the pandemic, was watching the Purge. Like, that's how low we were, that we like watched the Purge. We just watched through every single Scream. We finished last night. We did 6 nights in a row of Scream.
That's a good one too.
It was great. I liked it a lot. But like, these are the things that we were doing to pass the time. not really high points.
I don't know what my. Do you want to know a cool thing about the Purge movies?
Please. I haven't seen the most recent one, so
Well,
don't
what I've
spoil.
heard
but
is that
yes.
like the first one, it's essentially a home invasion thriller, right?
It was great.
They
Yeah.
create a whole world of all
Ethan
these
Hawke.
terrible things that could be happening outside,
Yeah.
and you don't go outside in the movie. You're in a house, but they still do a great job.
Yeah.
And it's because like they didn't have a big budget for it,
Mm.
so that's a really easy small budget thing. It all happens in one house. There's not that many actors, but then it was so successful. That's why the second one is balls to the walls.
It's all outdoors.
They're in the street. You see so much chaos, cars
Yeah.
exploding, weapons like that. And I was like, fuck yeah, I love that.
I wonder, and this is wild conjecture, I wonder if that's why like Home Alone 2 was in New York City and you saw this crazy
Oh, I'm
crap, but Home Alone
sure.
1 was just in a house.
I have no doubt, because it's so budget friendly to make a in the house movie with what, like all of 4 actors or
Okay, so
whatever.
what in the house movie are we making? We're going to make it in the house
I know.
movie. Nick's an incredible writer. For those that are listening, by the way, Julia's husband, Nick, is an incredible comic. His name's Nick Tarvella. Go look him up. He's great.
Yes.
Nick's an incredible writer, so he's got to write us an in-the-house thriller.
Nick has written it in the house thriller. It's on Showtime.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
You didn't know
No, what's the name of it?
that? Crawl Space.
Crawl Space.
And it's really good.
Is it scary? Is it going to scare me?
Yeah, I mean it's like a home invasion thriller, so to speak.
He's one of the writers of a film that's on Showtime.
Yeah. Aunt Becky, what's her name from Full
Lori
House?
Loughlin.
She's the main woman in it. And then the bad guy in it was one of the main guys from, I think the show, I want to say East Wing or something.
Well, there's Eastbound and Down or West Wing.
West Wing. I'm an old person. I just combined.
And you're like, the East Wing. East Wing and Down.
I don't know the name of anything, and that's the age that I'm at
I think
now.
I know that.
And
I know that about
I'm
you.
also confidently just saying what I think it is. And I know I'm wrong, but I don't care. And I'm just going to let someone correct me so we can get on with the conversation.
Listen, I will tell you this. The people that are dedicated to this podcast are not going to correct you. The people on social media who, if we clip this section, are going to jump in and be like, how could you not know that? My 2-year-old daughter knows that. Get a life, libs. Like, we get a lot of those. But no, yeah, I don't know how we got on The Purge talking about, oh, that's what we were doing during COVID, that and eating ice cream. But that's why I wake up at 7:30. There we go. Got us all the way back.
That sleep stuff. I will say, like, there's 2 things you don't want to be thinking about if you have trouble sleeping.
Why you can't fall asleep. That's got to be one of them.
You don't want to be thinking about sleep in general.
Okay.
I have to fall asleep soon. It's taking forever to fall asleep. If I don't sleep, I'm not going to enjoy tomorrow. Or I'm not going to be successful at the things I have to do tomorrow. Like,
I'm not going to be successful regardless. But
okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, great. So you can just tell yourself that.
Yep. Yeah. Go
Comforting
ahead.
thoughts.
Yeah. You know.
You don't want to be thinking about sleep in general. And you also don't want to be thinking about anything that you need to do. So I need to fall asleep falls under that category. But also I need to send this stuff to my accountant tomorrow and put up the social media post and this and that. Not that stuff. Or even big picture, I need to accomplish this in my life. You don't want to be thinking of that stuff. So you're like, so what do you think about? You have to do like a thought exercise where you find something anywhere from neutral to calming for you, and you force your thoughts in that direction. So like I would mentally go to the home of one of my best childhood friends that I find very calming.
Interesting.
Big house.
Yeah.
And I would walk through the rooms and I'd really like look at the wall. What color is the wall? How does the carpet feel? What does it smell like?
I
What
used
color
to do
is
that
the
with my grandmother's house.
Yeah. I mean, it's not unlike counting sheep, but for some people and it seems stupid and you're like, how is this gonna? And I remember when I started doing it, but I was reading everyone's reviews of this guy, and that ultimately being a technique that you focus on is like finding a thing. And they all said, I thought this was bullshit. I thought this would never work.
Yeah.
And I'm literally fixed. And that happened to me like every night. Like it takes time. Like first it feels like work because your brain wants to go back to, I have to do this. And you have to
Right.
notice that, not unlike with meditation. And you have
Do
to.
you meditate also?
Mhm.
You meditate also?
Mhm.
How, every day?
I used to be better about it. I'm probably just like a few times a week now. Nick meditates like 3 times a day.
Do you find that doing these things, getting better sleep, meditating, number one, makes you happier, number two, makes you better at comedy, which makes you better at your craft?
Well, yeah, because insomnia like impacted my whole life before because I couldn't sleep. I
Yeah.
couldn't fall asleep until like 4 and sometimes 6 in the morning.
6?
Yeah, sometimes I didn't fall asleep till the sun started to rise, and then I would just sleep till like 10 or 11. At which at that point I am underslept and it's way too late to be starting my day. So I am not well rested and I've lost hours. My day is shorter than I need it to be, and they're not productive hours because I'm so sleepy that like the work I needed to take was taking me. I didn't have I had to work late because I woke up late, and also the work was taking me longer than it needed to because I was so tired and like making mistakes.
Mm,
So then I would like have to skip the mics that I told myself that I would do, or not do an hour of writing like I told myself I would do.
yeah.
So in just like that practical sense, it was very problematic for like productivity.
Well, speaking of being productive, I'm going to take us into our first segment, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Our first segment is called the Newly Friend Game.
Yes.
It's like the Newlywed Game,
Yeah.
but we're friends. But I love the person you married, so it's almost like I'm part of your marriage.
Yes.
So the way this works is I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to write down your answer. I'm going to write down what I think your answer is, and we're going to see if we get it right. And then we'll do either the same or a different question for me. In your case, we're going to do the same question.
Okay.
Now, a lot of listeners may not know this, but if you know Julia well, if you're listening, you will know that her pride and joy, it's not me and it's not Nick. It's Cookie.
Yeah.
Cookie is her dog.
Good.
So here's what we're going to do.
Cookie's the best. She's a mini poodle mix and she's my baby.
Listen, Cookie and I are tight. We get along. Here's my question for you, and don't tell me the answer. Write it down. Other than a poodle mix, what is your favorite breed of dog? So you can't write down Cookies. Can't be poodle mix, but write down what your answer is. I'm going to try and guess. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to try and guess what your answer is. But what is your favorite dog
I've
breed?
done just like a minor amount of research into my past. It's actually a very easy answer to find.
Okay, well, I'm going to try.
Like if you had social media scrolled slightly before we met,
Well, yeah,
you would have actually had
it's
the
kind of
answer.
cheating. I don't want to cheat.
I understand.
Okay, you ready to flip your board on 3? 1, 2, 3, flip. Oh, I wasn't even close. It was a basset hound. Julia wrote basset hound. I
Yes.
wrote golden or schnauzer.
Well, though, I mean, I love every dog in the world, but basset hounds have my heart.
Oh, I got that so wrong. You had a basset hound?
Yes.
What was his or her name?
Lucas.
Lucas?
Yeah.
Are you the kind of person who likes, well, Cookie doesn't have this, but are you the kind of person who likes to just give a human name to a dog?
No, Lucas came with his name.
Oh, okay.
And I kept it. When I adopted Cookie, her name was Hillary, and I changed it to Cookie.
I mean, Cookie's much better.
It depends on the nature of the human name, because Lucas, I think, is still kind of like a fun, almost like a youthful little boy's name.
Sure.
And he was a little boy with just a fun, silly, rumpus personality, you know.
Love.
But Hillary is like such a serious name. Like it's like naming your dog Barbara or something. You know what I mean? Like
I like the weird names, but I like names that like do you know Dave Ross, the comedian?
Uh-huh.
He named his cat Dr. Funk.
Oh yes, I'm aware of Dr. Funk. Yes.
I love Dr. Funk. Honestly, I told Dave, I sent him a message and was just like, if you could just create a separate feed for Funk, I'll follow Dr. Funk. I will follow Dr. Funk into the dark. I love Dr. Funk. But like I like names like that are like a little silly, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, now you're gonna guess mine.
So
what is my favorite dog breed? Because I don't know if you're gonna know this.
Oh.
All right, you ready to flip your board on 3? 1, 2, 3. What do you got for me? Oh my God. Okay. I said she would get 2 points if she did that. I'm going to give it to you. That's crazy. So she said Jack Russell, Pug, and then she wrote Westie on the bottom.
Yeah.
I said an Irish setter.
Yeah.
Love an Irish setter. Love a golden. And then I do love a Westie. I love a Westie.
I really was just thinking because I feel like you have the personality of a Westie.
What is the personality of a Westie? I don't actually know. I had one as a kid, but I don't know.
I feel like you are friendly and energetic.
Ooh, go on. I love this part of the podcast. Go ahead.
But you're not golden retriever friendly, because to me that's more of like fraternity boy energy.
Oh yeah, I don't have any of that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I love everything you said. I think we should just have a segment compliment me. No, I do love Westies. I grew up. Here's my big thing about animals in general, and I'm sure I'm going to offend people, and that's fine. I am a pound and rescue kind of guy. You know, Jess and I don't have a dog right now because both of our lifestyles don't really lend themselves to having a dog. We both travel a lot, we're out of town a lot, and we don't have a yard. However, if/when we do get a dog, which I hope is at some point in the near future, I'd want a dog that is from a pound or a rescue that actually like needs a home, not one that's being bred to have a home.
I would like to say one thing. A lot of people say they don't want to get a dog because they don't have a yard. And to that, I want to spread the message far and wide. Every dog would rather live in this condo than in a tiny cage in a shelter.
That's true. I agree with you. I
So,
completely agree.
yeah.
We should make that a clip for ASPCA.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I would just say we also travel a ton. And if
Yeah.
I have a dog, I want to be here.
You could get a hypoallergenic dog, and I could take care of it when you travel.
Oh,
'Cause, you know-
are you gonna come all the way to Venice and take care of my dog for me?
Yeah, well, I'd have it come stay with us if you'd be open to it. This is
I
all so hypothetical,
I
and I'm
know.
already making the plans.
I trust it. Do you feel like, because you used to live on the West Side, did you have any culture shock when you were like, okay, you're now on, I don't know what you'd call it, the East Side, the North Side, the Valley Side?
I'm in the Valley.
You're in the Valley. Did it have an effect on your day to day? I mean, certainly must have had an effect on comedy a little bit.
It helped comedy tremendously.
Did it really? So you
But-
didn't mind? You were just like, oh, let's move. I don't
We
need
love
to
it.
be because you were in Mar Vista. I think.
Yeah, it's grittier where we live, but I also like that.
R-
Well, Mar Vista. I mean, Mar Vista is like the freaking new Brentwood of the West Side.
I mean,
It's
Mar
like,
Vista was very nice, but I just mean
Yeah.
like North Hollywood doesn't strike me as gritty. Maybe it is.
some parts of North Hollywood are very gritty, just so you know. Like
Oh.
if you go pretty north, you got like a lot of like pit bulls chained up in front yards and 8 old cars, and you don't really know why, and just like a lot of guys sitting out there with wife beaters and chains on, and like it can get a little. But we're in the Arts District, which is the cutesy part,
Okay.
but it's still like it's more LA. Like we have like 24-hour food places that are walkable. And we
Yeah.
have, unfortunately, a lot more, homeless people that are there,
I mean, I live in Venice.
some more heroin needles or whatever
Oh boy.
on the ground that you have, like you didn't have. But it's also young and fun. There's like theaters and breweries, and like we have a brewery 2 blocks from us, like, and we like that,
I mean, I was there for theater.
Yeah.
When we talked off the mic. That's why I was there. This is the weirdest comment I'm going to make this whole podcast, but I always wonder when I see like those kind of people sitting out in their yards, that ilk of people. I always wonder, I'm like, are they wearing sunscreen? I always wonder that. I'm like, are you? Probably not.
Might
But,
be
like-
the least of their worries.
But like, it's the most of mine. I'm not saying that that makes my life sound super cushy, but also I'm just like, I don't know. I have fears about things that maybe are less probable. Like skin cancer is a fear of mine. I am very pale, and I don't want to call you out, but I would argue that you are perhaps
Oh, yeah.
slightly on the paler side.
I have to get tested. I have to go get my skin checked all the time. I
I
have a
get-
lot of things to keep. Look at these freaking like planets growing on the side of my face.
Okay, listener, she's pointing to freckles. They look very
No,
normal
no,
to me.
These huge.
Oh, I don't know. Is that
Also,
not
I
normal?
don't care about them, but my mom has offered to pay to have them lasered.
Oh my I
she's so upset that her perfect daughter, who she wants to be an image of her, has these things on the side of her face.
what is it? It's just a birthmark, right? Or
No,
melasma or
it's-
whatever it's
no,
called.
it's sun damage.
Sun damage.
But it's not cancerous. It's just like it's basically giant freckles.
Oh, so I remember the first time I went into a dermatologist. I was trying to flirt with her because she was very cute, and I'm stupid. And she was she's like, so you see, you have a lot of freckles, and I was like, yeah, the sun loves me. That I said that like an idiot, like an absolute idiot. I was like, the sun loves me. Yeah, they just like come out during the summer. Yeah, like a lot of people think it's cute, like a dummy. And she goes, mm-hmm. So those freckles, that's sun damage. And I was like, what happened? And she was like, that's sun damage. And I was like, no, I think it's just like I get like freckly in the summer.
Yeah,
It's
like,
like a
don't
cute,
put a negative
it's
word
a
on
cute
this.
thing. And she's like,
Yeah.
sure. It's just, but it is sun damage. And I was like, mm-hmm. Am I gonna die? and she's like, no. And I was like, okay, because like you're really freaking me out here. I was like, the vibes are out now, and I'm very nervous. She's like, no, you're just gonna have to come in for a yearly skin check. And she was the PA, not the main person. And I was like, we need to bring in the doctor. Like I don't want to get cancer. And she's like, I didn't say cancer. And I was like, well, I'm saying cancer. And I just turned into like a 1,000-year-old man and freaked out. And then I like walked out and was like, I can't believe it. I am not good at flirting in a few specific situations, but with authorities is definitely
Only
one
a
of them.
few.
Well, I would say more than a few.
Everything
but like,
else okay.
like when I'm exercising, I can't do it. If I'm holding food, terrible.
The fact that you You put a lot of thought into the times you were not and are good at flirting, and that's so funny.
Listen, I was single much longer than you. You found your person faster than I
Yeah.
did. Like, I did not. So I had to learn, like, okay, like, don't try and flirt with a girl while you're eating a sandwich. Like, that's a disaster.
You know what? You know how Nick met me.
Was it not in comedy?
Yeah, well, yeah, we met in the alleyway waiting to do the West Side Comedy open mic, but I was like,
Saturday or Tuesday?
I was in another relationship and was in no way caring about looking cute when I went out anywhere because I was in a relationship. Like,
Yeah, like sweatpants style. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I had my bangs pinned up, which is my most vulnerable and ugliest I can be. And God forbid ever again. And like, I was wearing just like a whatever, like huge sweater. And I literally, I mean, I didn't give a fuck. I had like this crickety old like folding chair I brought with me because I knew I was going to have to be standing in the alley a long time. So I had this like rusty old folding chair I was sitting on. I had a bunch of snacks in Ziploc bags that I was like eating out of my purse. Bangs pinged up, no
So
makeup,
you were
ugly.
a grandmother.
I
Yeah.
was literally a grandmother, but Nick thought that it was hilarious and like scrappy that I had brought the chair and brought the snacks and was like so prepared for the wait for the open mic. And like we started talking about that. And also probably because I was in a different relationship and I didn't care about impressing anyone. I was like so comfortable and so myself. And
That's crazy to me.
yeah, but I looked terrible. And I was also like 15 pounds heavier. I was a little bit chubby when we met.
I can't even imagine you like that. I believe you, but like I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how long because you and I met, I think in 2015 maybe, and I don't know how long y'all had been dating at that point. Probably a minute.
Um, Probably only like a year at that. Well, because we just celebrated 10 years together.
You celebrated 10
So
years
maybe
together.
we had been dating
You
for like
probably
a year and a half.
you probably don't even remember what it's like to need to flirt with a stranger and know sandwiches are a no-go. Like you don't need to know that.
No, I guess not.
I also had to learn very quickly that if I'm wearing athletic attire of any kind
Yeah.
or doing any sort of exercise, like it's a major problem. I will say that when I do get hit on, which is not often, I get stoked. And I immediately tell Jess. I know you're not supposed to, but like you're just supposed to like let it go and it's not supposed to be a big deal, but I get so excited. I go, "Ha ha, your boy got hit on today."
I do too. I do too. I mean, I can't even remember the last time that I was hit on. It doesn't happen. But however, my friend Tommy, who owns the Fanatic Salon,
Oh, yeah, I know Tommy, yeah.
said that I very much give off a vibe that I am closed for business,
Uh-huh.
which I'm happy I do.
Well, yeah.
I don't try to be intentional. Well, and I don't try, like, I'm not like a bitch. Like, I think,
I could find 1,000 people who have met you. No one would describe you as that.
okay, good.
Yeah.
But in fact, I try to be friendly and I like people and I like chatting with people, including men.
Sure.
You know, I like meeting different people and
Yeah.
even talking to men. Like if I go out with friends and there's guys sitting near us, like I'll get into conversation with them, you know, but I mean, the wedding ring obviously is that, but there's that, but
Which is beautiful, by the way.
But then,
Beautiful
thank you.
ring, yeah.
But then there's also there's married people that put out a vibe that they're not closed for business. Like, you know what I mean?
There are some married people that are open for business.
Well, yeah, and they're officially with their partner, and that's a different thing. But
Oh, I wasn't even talking officially. I was saying some people act
Oh.
like they're open for business
Yeah.
when they're not.
it is like there's been people I've been aware of who like got divorced, and I was kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it, but I always felt that they had. I just know that for many years they've been married and I've been married. But if you just looked at two of us like at a party, you'd be like very different energies being put off by that woman versus that woman. You know what I mean?
I think about that all the time. Like this is gonna sound terrible to any friends I have that end up listening to this, but like the more friends that I know that get married, I'm like, okay, the chances that one of y'all is gonna get divorced is getting higher and higher. Like I know a bunch of married
Yeah.
people, and I'm like, when I knew like one or two people that were married, I'm like, no, these two could both make it all the way.
Yeah.
And it is not a commentary on these couples. It's a commentary on statistics that
yeah.
I'm just like, I have like 12 different couples that I'm close with that are married. I'm like, one of y'all's probably gonna get divorced. And like, I don't say that to them, but I think it now. And I'm like, ooh, who's it gonna be? You know?
I do think that divorce rates, at least in places like LA, are probably rapidly dropping. I'd be interested to look into it.
Dropping.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's actually a lot of interesting factors that play into this. I would say dropping because if there's a place where like, go do what works for you, timelines don't matter,
Yeah.
Be a child until you're 50 if you want to be. It's not the pressure of like, you need to like be manager at your company and have 3 kids and a mortgage by the time you're 28. The way that that's very real in certain
Yeah.
places in the country still. LA's got none of that. And I think that causes a lot of divorce, is like people feeling they have to meet these milestones by an age when most people don't even know who they are. So they certainly shouldn't have picked out a life partner.
I have no clue who I am.
Okay, perfect. So
You're like, great. I'm trying to make a point.
So I feel like since that pressure doesn't exist in LA and New York and like certain big cities where people go to because they want to break free of a mold expected in other areas, I think you'll have people marrying for the right reasons more. But you also very much have people marrying for the wrong reasons in LA. It's the city of gold diggers. It's a city of women who come here to get lip injections, butt implants, and find a husband who's 50 years older and is a billionaire. You know what I mean? And they're looking to get divorced. They're looking to get a bad prenup, and they're looking to get a divorce in a few years. So you have like a lot of different things going on. You know what I mean?
If I could find someone who's 50 years older than me and a billionaire, and they're willing to take me in, I'll tell Jess, I'm like, listen, I'm doing this for us.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting us both in here. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna make this happen.
That's a movie. I mean, maybe that movie's already existed, but like, could you imagine a movie where a couple is like so broke that they decide that like one of them
gets in the mix with
that they need to divorce so that one of them but like stay together unofficially so that one of them goes and marries.
This has got to be a movie, right? It sounds like it.
I mean, there's definitely versions of it. Like there's that Bruce Willis.
It's Crawl Space 2
movie. No, but there is that movie where like a man offers another man a lot of money to spend one night with his wife, and the couple's like really poor and they're like really.
Wait a minute, this sounds really familiar. Do you remember? You know what this is, Elliot? No, he doesn't know.
Bruce Willis, and then that woman that I think Ashton Kutcher is with or was with, who's much older than him.
Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Or Demi Moore.
I think it's those two, possibly.
I mean, I have not seen that. As good of an idea as that is, I don't know that Jess is going to love it. But I'm going to try it. Are you ready to go to the lightning round?
Yes.
You know what? You don't sound excited. You sound content, but not excited. You're like, yeah, no, it's going to be fine.
I'm like, well, what's wrong with content?
No,
content is my favorite emotion. At this point in life, I know there's a lot of ups and downs, and content is like a good place to be.
I'm good with it. Well, I'm glad you're contented. This is 5 questions. They're fast questions. They don't have to be fast answers. This is what we ask every guest at the end. I put it on an index card because it makes me feel like a late night talk show host.
Love it.
Question 1, what is a favorite ritual of yours? So mine is brewing tea.
Okay.
Yes. What would be one of yours?
I love if I have a night that I don't have a show or a show that lets out early, like on a weekend night. I like to go to Taco Bell.
Uh-oh.
As you know, I do. And then I like to bring my Taco Bell home and pour myself like a little finger of whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have my whiskey and my Taco Bell, and I like to watch apocalyptic films in general, post-apocalyptic films. I like zombie movies a lot, but like apocalypse in general.
Okay.
That's a self-care night.
2 important questions, 3 important ones, follow-ups. Question 1, what is your Taco Bell order? The listeners need to know.
Yeah, I am old school. I get 2 crunchy taco supremes and 1 bean cheese burrito, and I'm done.
Respect. Question 2, what is your whiskey brand of choice?
I like Bullet Bourbon.
Okay, I'm a Bullet Rye guy, but bourbon. Okay, yeah, great. And then question 3, what is a recent apocalyptic film that you'd recommend to people?
Well, I'm watching a show right now that I like.
Last of Us?
Oh, well, I watched The Last of Us. Yeah, The Last of Us was obviously great.
Great.
I'm watching a show called Sweet Tooth on Netflix right now. That's pretty good.
I don't want to give anything away, but I feel like I've seen promo images for that. Does the gentleman have antlers?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Question 2, what is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
One of them I can't tell you because it would not be okay.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah, we didn't. Okay. Now that's the one I'm dying to know, but all right. Yeah.
I mean, okay. I'll just tell you because it's not just, you know that I'm in no way homophobic.
No.
At all. But for some reason, when I met Nick, I thought that he was gay.
Oh, Jess thought I was gay.
Okay. So my husband, Nick, when I met him, I thought he was gay.
Sure.
Which is fine. But I thought he was gay. And now there's like an ongoing thing. And many people have thought he was gay. Like he's had bosses who straight up totally thought he was gay for like a year until he mentioned me or brought me to a holiday thing. And they're like, what? I thought you were gay all the time. So we have like an ongoing thing where just this or that, like if he does or says something that could possibly be interpreted as feminine in some way, and I'll be like, well, because you're gay, and
Oh.
they're just like, like,
that's fine.
like just like things like that, and like there's like humor in the idea that I would just spend my life with a man who I fully know doesn't have sexual attraction towards me, and that's fine with me. like to me, like that's just an ongoing.
It happens somewhere.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God, yeah. Jess and I have a similar, not a similar bit in that, but like in the sense that anytime she'll say anything about like anything remotely Jewish, and I'll be like, ooh, anti-Semitic, don't care for it. And she's like, that's not what? I'm not. No, I didn't. And I'm like, no, it's because you're anti-Semitic. It's fine. And then just run right by it.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just, I don't know. It's just, and it'll be things where like, I think a lot of the humor it'll be, I'll say it to something totally random that couldn't even in any way be interpreted as having to do with someone's like sexuality.
And you're like, no, it's because you're gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I love that. You could, I thought it was going to be much like raunchier than that. That's fine. Question 3, can you do an impression of one or both of your parents? And the worse the impression, the better. We don't want good ones here. We want bad ones.
Oh, well, I mean, my mom, I do my mom in my stand-up a lot, or she'll be like, well, she calls me Yulia, like she calls me Yulia. And like, she also gets very when she gets frustrated with me, which is most of the time she's talking to me, she makes like a lot of sounds that mean nothing before she even gets to my name. She'll be like, no, Yulia. You know what I mean? Just like,
I hate to say I relate to it. My mom once called me my uncle's name, my father's name, and our dead dog's name, and then got to me.
Yeah.
She's like, Stuart, Lee, Buddy, Josh. And I'm like, Buddy? Really? Buddy came before Josh. Buddy, the dog that died 10 years ago, came before me? Come on. Give me something here. So I get it. Question 4, have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there a moment that really rings for you?
Any opportunity that felt big, like that it was somehow launching me to the next level,
yeah,
I would say has always brought a tinge of imposter syndrome. It's gotten smaller over the years, and I think that's appropriate. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
great.
I think if I had it, it's because I was correct, and not that I was an imposter, but usually like growth comes from those moments where, it's one of my favorite books, Grit. They talk about, growth happens when the requirement is slightly higher than the current skill set. So, you know what I mean? The challenge at hand, or what's being asked of you, is just a little bit more than what you're actually capable of right now. And we have to do those things, and that's how we grow and get better. Because it happens, the thing comes, and you were the worst one on the show, or you didn't do as well at the audition as you wanted to. And you feel that moment, and you're like, I never want to feel that again. And so you go out and like put in a lot of work so that next time your skill set actually matches the expectation when that thing comes up. You know what I mean? So I think there's value in those moments.
That was amazing. I'm like literally thinking a lot about that right now, and I think that I'm probably gonna be thinking about that tonight when I should be sleeping.
No, Josh. No.
No, I won't do it. A final question. What is your favorite tea or comfort? I know you're not a huge tea drinker, so if you want to go with your favorite comfort, that is totally fine.
My favorite comfort? I like warmth a lot.
You just like being warm?
Yeah, like I like baths. I like sitting in front of heaters.
Just
I love to be warm.
Big on the space heaters.
Yeah.
I get that.
They're very risky.
I thought you were going to say cookie.
Oh, well, is Cookie Cookie's my baby.
I know.
So, like, I'm her, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel motherly towards her. Like, it's my job to comfort her.
It probably is.
Yeah.
How old is Cookie now?
10.
Unbelievable. She still has the energy of a puppy.
She's a good girl.
Well, that's it. How do you feel? You feel good?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming. This was great. You're always welcome back anytime you want. Come on back.
Thank you. It was very fun.
That was Julia Austin. You can follow her at Julia Austin Was Taken on Instagram and jaustin327 on TikTok. Steep Conversations is produced and edited by Elliot GB. Our associate editor is Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepcombos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then,
Happy steeping.
This is all making me sound terrible. When I went to the gym, I would also just like wear like an old t-shirt
Why does this making you sound terrible?
because like they would be like t-shirts from college and I was years removed.
I'll go to CVS looking like shit like it's nothing.
Well, CVS requires that.
Yeah,
I go
yeah,
to CVS
yeah.
the same way.
I'll go anywhere looking like shit like
Yeah,
it's nothing.